The instant Jackson Price tears my sheet of choreography in half, the paper rips through more than the shallow Monday silence. It slices straight through the pulse I have nursed for months, the pulse that kept me counting beats long after the studio lights died each night. The halves drift to the varnished floor like twin white feathers, and every dancer on the Marley instinctively holds their breath, as though the act itself might be contagious. I am still holding mine when the metronome in Jackson's watch resumes its soft click. Tick, tick, tick. He snaps his fingers at the pianist. "We're going with Renee's variation instead," he announces, voice clipped and professional. The donors loved her energy during last week's preview. He never looks at me, but I feel the heat of his decision scorch my cheeks anyway. Around me, 26 bodies shuffle, stretch, and avert their eyes. Renee pulls a sympathetic grimace I have learned to mistrust. She can wear contrition like a costume piece, glossy and temporary. From the back of the studio, I glimpse Mateo's worried brows. He mouths, "Sorry," yet even he can't rescue me in this moment. Jackson clears his throat. "Positions, and someone collect that trash off the floor." Trash. My routine. The 8-minute solo I dreamt in the narrow corridor beside my flat's boiler, because it was the only echo long enough to hold the final crescendo. The solo I submitted to Jackson during winter break, printed painstakingly on staff paper with notes annotated for the lighting technician. He called it audacious, his exact word, playful and admiring. Now it is trash. The pianist starts the new score, bright, safe, unoriginal. My limbs, still tuned to the old melody, seize in confusion. I step aside before someone collides into me, palms damp against my rehearsal skirt. I force myself to the mirror, drop into plie, and pretend I am merely another core dancer absorbing choreographic changes. That is the lie I rehearse for the next 40 minutes. I pretend I didn't just lose the role that would have introduced my voice to London's West Hall Gala audience, the role that could have turned one obscure scholarship girl into a headline. But muscle memories betray me. When the ensemble moves into a triple turn sequence, Renee's signature flair, I tumble out of the last rotation, spotting not the reflected line of dancers, but the ragged sheet of my music still abandoned near the piano. Tick, tick, tick. Jackson's watch keeps tempo, indifferent to my derailment. "Reset!" His command ricochets across the studio. I swallow, raise my arms, and feel something crack along a line far more fragile than bone. I hear my mother's voice from a Devonshire kitchen, thick with flour and optimism. "Even broken wings remember sky." She taught me to dance between polishing heirloom teaspoons for wealthy tourists. She sent me here with coins stitched into the waistband of my first audition dress, so they couldn't clink and betray our poverty. I breathe through another reset. The music stutters mid-bar when someone fumbles a step. Jackson sighs theatrically. "Again, let's show the sponsors we can hit their brand expectations without rehearsal edits." Brand expectations. I taste copper where determination grinds against humiliation. The pianist begins once more, but the room has shrunk until only 2 actors remain, the man who declared my work trash and the woman who refuses that verdict. Halfway through the combination, I abandon the safe counts. My feet trace the ghosts of my own choreography, superimposed on Renee's. A tiny rebellion, invisible unless you know where to look. I carve an arabesque where a passe should land, angle my torso to catch a phantom spotlight no longer scripted. My heart slams, equal parts terror and thrill. Jackson's eyebrows twitch. He notices. I double down. I give him the line he once called shoulder-blading the horizon, arms slicing so fiercely I feel skin whisper past air. The move is out of sync with the score, but the silence it punches is somehow louder than the piano. The music halts. The pianist's hands hover. A dozen dancers freeze mid-breath. My pulse roars louder than any orchestral swell. Eloise. Jackson rarely uses my name. Hearing it now is like a gavel. A word. He gestures toward the far corner, where storage alcove meets glass. I walk the length of the studio, every step echoing on polished wood, and imagine each echo is another page of my future being torn. When the door clicks behind us, he doesn't waste courtesy. What was that stunt? Stunt? My voice emerges steadier than expected. I was dancing. Dancing, he repeats it as though it has soured on his tongue. You deliberately deviated from the set combination. Sponsors fly in next week. This is no time for improvisational heroics. Next week, I echo, pretending ignorance. So there is still time to refine? He exhales through his nose. Renee's version stays. Your concept, while innovative, doesn't align with the gala's new visionary pivot. I pictured dusty men in suits scribbling buzzwords like vibrancy and mass appeal across marketing decks. Our audience isn't a focus group, Jackson. Our audience keeps the doors open. Then softer, almost coaxing. Look at those. You're talented? The word scrapes. Talent can be ignored. Necessary is the word I need. He tries another tactic. I can still offer you a featured course lot. The third row duet in the bridge, maybe. I imagine my mother hearing that offer, her breath stilling across a crackling phone line. Featured core. Background noise. No. He blinks. No? I can't dance someone else's story. His jaw tenses, yet relief flickers in his eyes. My refusal simplifies his logistics. Then we're done here. He opens the door, and the sound of the rehearsal floods back in, muffled applause as Renee nails a turn. Jackson steps out first, leaving me inside the alcove dusk motes and unanswered hunger. When I finally walk back through the studio, dancers avoid my gaze. Mateo, brave enough, squeezes my wrist. Talk later? I nod, unsure if later exists. I change into street clothes without showering, the recycled air smelling of rosin and regret. Outside London's afternoon tips into drizzle. Canary Wharf cranes loom like skeletal rigging over the Thames. I cross a bridge toward the tube station, each raindrop a cold percussion. My phone buzzes. Mum, heart. I stare at the screen until it dims. Tonight, I cannot explain the taste of defeat. I descend the escalator, swipe through the barriers, and merge into a carriage that clatters east toward my bedsit. Commuters sway in rhythmic resignation. Their mundane exhaustion suddenly feels heavier than ever. I wonder how many of them once held a soaring dream and watched it fold into something pocket-sized and polite. My stop arrives. The streets near my building smell of petrol and damp concrete. My flat sits above a shuttered cafe the landlord painted over the windows when rents soared, leaving murals of postagists. Inside, I hang my wet jacket beside a cracked mirror, toe off shoes that have danced across 4 countries, yet still pinch when I climb too steep a hope. I open my laptop at the kitchen counter, more habit than intent. A blank document stares back. The cursor blinks, an impatient metronome. I type 3 words. I was ready. Then I hammer delete until the bar eats them whole. Instead, I search upcoming auditions, a masochistic pastime. Most deadlines have closed. One catches my eye. Headline soloist, Aurora Festival Brighton Pier. Submission window closes midnight Wednesday, a mere 48 hours. Aurora is seaside, open air, funded by a tech mogul who loves artistic risk. I'd bookmarked it months ago but dismissed the thought. Our company calendar overlapped. Now those dates are suddenly free. I glance at the wall clock, 7:12 p.m. The festival requires a 2-minute original routine filmed in a single take, no edits. If selected, rehearsals begin next Monday. I close my eyes, let traffic hum fill the room. Jackson's voice echoes, doesn't align. The torn pages tilt in my memory, fluttering like wounded birds. I open my eyes. The cursor still blinks. Screw alignment. I grab my duffel, slip back into damp sneakers, and lock the flat. The studio will be empty by 8th. The night guard won't start rounds until 9. If I'm quick, I can capture footage before anyone notices. I jog the 6 blocks back, rain feathering hair against my cheeks. The entrance lights glow amber. I know the keypad code, staff rarely change it. Inside, the lobby echoes with after-hours loneliness. I dart up 2 flights, heart punching at ribs. Studio 3 is dark. I flip a single switch, just enough fluorescence to guide me. The space feels larger without bodies, an ocean of possibility. I position my phone on a practice block, angle it towards center floor, and tap record. 30 seconds to settle. I suck in a breath that tastes of industrial cleaner and bygone applause. The moment I move, all nerves combust into flame. My body remembers every outlawed phrase of the solo. The ceilings vanish, the city hushes, there is only the music in my head and the story my limbs insist on telling. I spin until the walls blur and resolve into horizons. I leap, carving negative space into shapes of defiance. When I slide into the final floor sweep, my shoulder pulls, but pain translates into clarity. This is mine, raw and unsponsored. Silence follows, thick and alive. I stagger upright, panting. The timer shows 2:04. Good. I save the file, label it Hellstead, Aurora, and send it before courage expires. A confirmation ping rings like church bells. Footsteps. I freeze. A flashlight slices across the doorway. The night guard. Instinct flares. I kill the studio light, grabbing my bag. The guard's keys jangle, his radio crackling about some leak in the boiler room. I slip behind stacked risers, heart drumming triple time. His beam drifts, hovers on the Marley, then sweeps away. After a tense eternity, the outer door clanks shut. I exhale, trembling with adrenaline and dangerous exhilaration. Outside, the rain has cleared, leaving streets slick enough to mirror neon. I walk home at a measured pace, head bowed beneath sodium lamps, and attempt to imagine a future in which the festival panel says yes. That night, I dream of the ocean. Not Devon's gentle coves, but Brighton's carnival shoreline, where waves slap iron pilings beneath the pier and gulls wheel like frantic punctuation. In the dream, I stand on stage as surf mist beads my costume, waiting for the first chord. But instead of music, I hear Jackson's metronome clicking, louder and louder until it splits the sky. I wake before dawn, a sheet twisted round my waist like a restraining rope. The light outside is the lukewarm gray of London indecision. My body aches from the illegally gained rehearsal, yet a current thrums under the soreness, hope's clandestine sibling. Breakfast is oatmeal and determination. I sit cross-legged on the floor, notebook balanced on knees, drafting lighting notes for an outdoor platform. I don't know if I will ever send them, but planning keeps the fear at bay. Messages pile on my phone. Mateo, are you okay? Heard you left early. Renee, 3 emojis of ambiguous sympathy. Jackson, none. I ignore them all. At 11, a new email lands. Aurora Festival Selection Committee. My pulse stutters. Subject line, invitation to live callbacks. I read it 3 times, breathless. They ranked my submission 3rd out of nearly 200. Live callbacks will be held tomorrow at noon in Brighton Pavilion. They emphasize punctuality and preparedness for press photos. Tomorrow. I shoot to my feet, giddy and terrified. My ankle protests the sudden weight. I flex it, assessing the earlier strain. Tender but functional. I will tape it. I pull out a canvas garment bag, my competition costume from last year's Prague Invitational. Silver mesh over midnight blue, reminiscent of moonlit tide pools. It fits the pier motif. I will need to adjust the hem where training added muscle. The rest of the day blurs in a montage of sewing, stretching, and chugging electrolyte drinks. I text Mateo. Need help running lines at 7? Studio secret, your discretion buys coffee. He replies with a thumbs up and a gif of Rocky Balboa. At 7 sharp, we meet outside the side entrance. Mateo sneaks me in after his evening class. The air inside smells of determination and disinfectant. He cues the track on my phone while I run the routine thrice. Each take cleaner, sharper. On the last pass, the taped ankle aches but holds. You're electric, he breathes when the outro fades. I wipe sweat with the hem of my tee. Thank you. He hesitates. Jackson will blacklist you if he finds out. Jackson already blacklisted me. Mateo nods, pursing his lips. Then he smiles crookedly. So get famous fast. Drag me up with you. I laughed, tension cracking like ice under skates. We fist bump and he heads out. I linger to collect my things. My reflection stares back from the darkened mirror.
a woman carved by ambition, fear, and something fiercer than both. I nod to her. Not done yet. I leave before the guard starts rounds, riding the night bus home and reviewing footwork in the aisle like a restless marionette. Dawn comes too quickly. I tape my ankle, pack a small case, and board the 7:15 Thames Link to Brighton. The trains smell of coffee and sunscreen, commuters mixing with holidaymakers. I stare out the window as city blocks give way to rolling Sussex countryside, each mile a stitch sewing me toward a new possibility. At Brighton Station, gulls cry overhead. The air carries salt and sugar from seaside confectionaries. I wheel my case along bustling streets, passing rainbow murals and tattoo parlors. The pavilion emerges like an impossible palace, onion domes gleaming against blue sky. Inside, festival staff usher dancers into a marbled atrium. Clipboards, bottled water, branded lanyards. I sign in, number 27, pinned to my chest. We wait in rows of folding chairs. Some competitors chat, others meditate. I watch a woman in flaming red warmers mark her routine with surgical precision. She is confidence incarnate. I study my breathing. A coordinator steps up. Numbers 25 through 30, follow me. We rise. They lead us through corridors to a rehearsal hall, its floor taped with stage dimensions for spacing. The callback panel sits at a table, 5 judges, notebooks poised. My stomach flips when I recognize one of them. Slicked hair, impeccably tailored jacket, a cheap silver metronome placed neatly beside his papers. Jackson Price. He lifts his gaze and his eyes freeze upon me. A slow, incredulous smile unfurls. Lightning downloads my spine. The dance world is smaller than gravity claims. He must have been invited last minute as guest advisor. The coordinator announces, "Number 27, you're up next. Stage is yours when the floor clears." I swallow, pulse crashing like Brighton surf. Jackson taps the metronome. Tick, tick, tick. Each beat feels like a trapdoor under my feet. My turn. I step into the taped square, the hush of expectations swelling around me. I glance at Jackson. He lifts one brow, daring me to crumble. I lower into starting position. The technician cues my track. The first note shivers through the room. I lift my eyes to the domed ceiling and exhale every doubt I ever swallowed. My body surges. The story I once built in secret now unfurls under fluorescent lights and under the watch of the man who tried to kill it. I spin toward the first leap. Then the track skips. Silence collapses mid-arc. Panic slices the air as I land off balance, ankle blazing. Someone shouts from the console, "File error!" I freeze, heart thunderstruck, as the world holds its collective breath.
Breath. The moment hangs, brittle as thin ice. The ceiling fans whir, indifferent metronomes filling the vacancy where music should live. A dozen competitors stare. Judges whisper, but all I can hear is the low-frequency roar of my own pulse. My landing jarred the taped ankle, jagged heat forks up the calf, yet instinct muffles the pain beneath more urgent alarms. The track is dead. Jackson Price's fingertips hover above his silver metronome, motionless now. No tick, no mercy. His smirk coils like barbed wire. The technician at the console fumbles again, curses under breath, and the speakers pop with static. File error persists. I am one breath away from forfeiture. But breath is a resource, and dancers learn early to weaponize scarcity. I draw mine in, feel ribs widen, and on the exhale I step forward, arms rising into fifth. My voice, scratchy from adrenaline, cuts the hush. Counting in, I begin singing the score. Not lyrics, none exist, just pure solfège syllables I practiced while mopping cafe floors as a teen. Do re mi fa so. The unfamiliarity shocks the room. Judges lean. My feet find the choreography mid-phrase, each pivot aligning to the sung melody. Breath becomes drum, vowels become strings. Gauzy afternoon light slants across the rehearsal tape, gilding chalk dust like motes in cathedral air.
At first, the hall stands frozen, but number 29, tall, dreadlocked, begins tapping his thigh, picking up the beat. By measure 20, a ripple of claps underscores my voice, shaky but earnest. The music returns, conjured by human hands and lungs. The choreography surges smoother than during playback. Here, each beat is carved in collective intention. My ankle protests on the second grand jeté, a flare of fire, but I ride the arc, landing softer, knee bent deeper. No time for doubt. At 40 seconds, the faux orchestra crescendos, my solo tilt. I grab air as if seizing invisible ribbon and spiral into the backbend that earned me scholarship. The marble ceiling seems to bend too, drawing nearer, reflecting sweat pearls that fling from my temples like meteor sparks. I count the final sequence under breath. 1 and 2, 3 hold, 4. I slide into the floor sweep, palms skimming laminate, shoulders muting shock. Silence settles, heavy as velvet, then breaks with scattered applause. Dancers first, then 2 judges. Jackson does not clap. I push upright, chest heaving. The coordinator calls, "Thank you, number 27." I incline my head, resisting urge to limp, and exit the taped square. Number 29 flashes a grin, our palms brush in covert solidarity as I pass. Back in the seats, adrenaline drains, leaving limbs jelly. I prop ankle across knee, discreetly retighten tape. The rest of the session blurs. Pirouettes, leaps, a flamenco hybrid that sets board members nodding. Jackson scribbles notes, occasionally flicking gaze at me like I'm a stray comp in his ledger. After last performer bows, the panel retreats behind ornate double doors. Competitors disperse to water coolers. Whispers swirl. Did you see the live a cappella save? Who is she? Was that Price's student or enemy? I ignore them, concentrate on coaxing ankle through slow circles. 15 minutes stretch to 30. Finally, doors open. Judges file out. Coordinator clears throat. Thank you all. Finalists will be posted online by 6 p.m. today. Please ensure we have correct contact details. Safe travels. Relief mingles with anticlimax, like stepping off a roller coaster into a gift shop. I gather duffel, hobble toward exit, when a crisp voice stops me. Housestead. I pivot. Jackson stands alone beneath a chandelier, coat draped over forearm. He crooks a finger. Against caution, I approach. Up close, he smells of cologne designed to project affluence and iron resolve. Cute stunt, he murmurs, but this isn't viral video territory. Festivals need reliability, not theatrics. I arch my brow. So you volunteered to sabotage the track. A pause, too brief to be guilt. Technical glitches happen. He smooths invisible lint. Brighton's board trusts my judgment. I won't let them waste resources on a liability. Or on someone you can't control. His smile glints predator. Little choreographers should know when to step off a larger stage. I steady my breath. Again, I'm not stepping anywhere except forward. We stand eye-locked, tied stiff, until footsteps intrude. An older woman in peacock scarf, one of the primary underwriters, approaches, extending hand. Miss Halstead, yes? Magnificent recovery. The festival thrives on ingenuity. Jackson's jaw ticks. I shake her offered hand, pulse thrumming. She continues, our director would like a brief photo, if you're available. Available? My heart cartwheels. I nod. As she guides me away, I cast Jackson a glance that blends apology and triumph. He looks murderous. The photo op occurs against Pavilion's arched window. Director Lysander, Cho, innovator, philanthropist, rumored billionaire, greets me with warm handshake. Cameras flash. He compliments my musicality and risk tolerance. He says, audiences remember the unexpected, eyes twinkling. Our gala this year pushes immersive boundaries. We'll notify you this evening. Outside, seagulls shriek over neon arcades. I find a bench overlooking the skeleton of West Pier. Wind tangles hair as I call Mum. She answers on the third ring, breath hitching with flower dust laughter. When I finish recounting the a cappella fiasco, she is quiet. Then, you sang your own music? That's my girl. We talk until ticket inspector's whistle forces goodbye. I board the return train, ankle elevated across seat, letting countryside blur into Monet streaks. Hope flutters, but not yet lands. 6 p.m. holds verdict. Back in London by 4, I hobble to clinic for compression wrap. Nothing torn, just strain. The physio prescribes ice, anti-inflammatories, and rest. Rest, the cruelest prescription. I reach my bedsit to find Matteo waiting on stoop, 2 cardboard cups. Need a debrief, he explains, thrusting coffee. We climb to my kitchen. I recount meltdown. He laughs so hard he snorts foam. Legend, you turned panel into buskers. 5:30. We refresh inbox like a Dix. 5:58, nothing. 5:59, chime. Subject, Aurora Festival, principal offer. The email unfurls like sunrise. Congratulations, you are our headline soloist. Rehearsals begin Friday 9 a.m. Please confirm availability and technical requirements. Screams collide, Mattea's and mine, filling the tiny flat with jubilation. I jump, forget ankle, wince midair but land grinning. We high-five until palms sting. Then another email drops. Aurora Festival press release draft. I open doc. Local prodigy Eloise Halstead, formerly of London West Hall Contemporary, joins Aurora as both headline soloist and featured guest choreographer for ensemble piece, title Rhapsody, premiering alongside established company, London West Hall Contemporary, artistic director Jackson Price. Heat drains from cheeks. Ensemble piece? West Hall Company? My former troupe, the one I unofficially quit but never formalized, attached to same marquee. Matteo reads over shoulder. That's interesting. Trap, I mutter. They want synergy. Jackson wants control. If I refuse, I look uncooperative. If I accept, he can undermine rehearsal. Phone buzzes. Unknown number. We should talk details. Price. I silence call. Mind pinwheeling. Accepting could salvage his pride and secure the festival's funding stream. Declining could brand me difficult. I pace, ankle throbbing. Matteo sets coffee down. Option C, he flips script. I frown. Meaning? Take choreographer slot, but cast your dancers. My dancers? He shrugs. There are plenty in West Hall tired of Price's tyrant act. Offer them a chance at pure glamour. They'll defect. Defection? Risky. Festival in 2 weeks. Logistics, rehearsals, contracts. Yet adrenaline purrs at thought. I open group chat, studio night owls, dancers who stay late drilling sequences. I type, opportunity, paid festival gig, creative freedom, seaside stage, NDA levels of secrecy. Interested? And hit send. Within minutes, pings explode. Yes. In. Tell me more. Even Renee pops green bubble. Legacy project? I'm down. Her eagerness surprises me, but allies are assets. I craft reply. Meet 10 p.m. Warehouse E, Docklands. Bring sneakers. Matteo raises brow. Warehouse? Cheap rental, empty nights. He beams. Revolution vibe.
At 9:30, we cab to Docklands. Warehouse E is cavernous. Concrete floor, slick with echoes of forgotten goods. I plug portable speaker into generator, lines up chalked. By 10, 7 dancers arrive. Renee, Matteo, dreadlocked Kofi, number 29, shy Scandinavian twins Liv and Lena, powerhouse Latin jazz specialist Marisol, and rookie core dynamo Felix. Their faces are lit by equal parts curiosity and mischief. I brief them. 2 weeks, immersive peer stage, pay scale fair, albeit festival budget. Vision, title Rhapsody, ensemble piece where dancers embody shifting ocean states, from lullaby lapping to hurricane fury. They nod, eyes flicker with hungry fire. We warm up, ankle braces hold. I teach first phrase, fluid undulations traveling across ribs, arms reminiscent of seagrass weaving in current. They catch on quick. Synergy crackles like static. Past midnight, we break. I outline schedule. Nightly 8 to midnight rehearsals, morning conditioning optional. They sign simple agreements. I promise, formal contracts tomorrow. As they leave, Renee lingers. She flexes ankle, hesitant. I know I nuked your solo spot, she blurts, gaze drifting. Price dangled gala lead if I undermined your pitch. I took bait. Regretted since. Honesty slices deeper than deceit. I exhale. Then prove redemption. Dance your marrow out. She swallows. I will. When lights switch off, Mateo and I collapse against crates, sweat cooling into shivers. You realize, he murmurs, we just declared war on Jackson Price. I realize, I whisper back, feeling something surge, fear and euphoria braided together. The next 72 hours compress into a feverish montage, securing insurance writers, ordering crash mats, negotiating with Lysander for lighting designer autonomy. He agrees, as long as concept remains audience-centric. I propose a stage border of mirrored plexi panels angled outward so spectators see themselves refracted amidst our dance, becoming ripples around us. He loves it, signs off. Price texts repeatedly. I ignore, focusing on creative oasis. Social media quietly fumes with rumors. West Hall Contemporary to unveil new collaboration at Aurora. Jackson posts cryptic rehearsal shots featuring empty studio, likely stoking intrigue. On day 4, official festival account tags me in a teaser clip, silhouette of dancer leaping off the pier edge, tagline, Tidal Rhapsody incoming. Comments explode. Ticket sales spike. During morning physio check, doctor approves ankle load as long as I ice and rest midday. Rest is mythical, but I promise. That evening, as we rehearse hurricane section, Felix misjudges lift. Lena slips, snams hip hard. She winces, but insists fine. I halt run, demand a break. We discuss modifying lift to reduce risk. She nods, grateful. After session, I film progress, post private link for Lysander. He replies at 3 a.m., riveting. What do you need for water effect? I propose light mist system overhead. He emails vendor before sunrise. Day 5, confrontation. Jackson intercepts me outside warehouse, leaning against sleek black Range Rover. Rain drizzles, city lights smear across bonnet. Thought we should talk face to face, he states. Casual menace. I cross arms. Speak. The festival program prints tomorrow. Cho expects one cohesive troupe. Your midnight circus isn't in contract. Dissolve it, join West Hall piece, and I'll credit you as co-choreographer. I scoff. Co in name only.
He pushes off car, closes distance. You're jeopardizing my company's funding. West Hall board threatened withdrawal if I don't deliver exclusive premiere. Your board isn't my keeper. His eyes narrow. Withdraw tonight or I'll petition festival for injunction, citing breach of non-compete. Your scholarship clauses still bind you. Blood chills. Non-compete? My student contract did include restrictions, but I left Corpse, yet not officially. Legal limbo. I mask panic. I'll review clauses with counsel. He grins, shark. Do that. Clock's ticking. He taps his metronome, dangling from keychain. Tick, tick, tick. He drives off, tires hissing puddles. I retreat inside warehouse, breath ragged. Dancers stretch. Mateo spots my pallor. I relay ultimatum. Fear ripples, but Kofi slams fist into palm. We ain't folding. Renee steps forward. Price uses same clause to keep us docile, but there's loophole. Company cannot enforce on unpaid overtime gigs. He underreports our comp hours. Marisol nods. I have payroll stubs proving unpaid rehearsals. Hope flickers. Gather evidence, I instruct. We'll build defense. Mateo calls his cousin, paralegal. She agrees to draft a cease and desist letter to Price, citing labor violations should he pursue injunction. Buoyed, we dive back into choreography. Energy roars. Hurricane section now Throds was a real rebellion. Day 6 dawns with festival press conference. I arrive wearing navy blazer to hide sweat. Jackson stands at the podium, sleek. Lysander opens the event, introduces festival lineup. When he reaches Title Rhapsody, he gestures to me. Cameras swivel. I step forward, deliver succinct vision statement about audience reflection, ocean metaphor, and collaborative spirit. Applause modest but genuine. Jackson's smile strains. Reporter asks, "Will Title Rhapsody feature West Hall dancers?" I answer, "It will feature dancers who believe in its story." Lysander beams. Reporters jot frantically. Jackson presses mic button. West Hall Contemporary remains committed to festival excellence. He segues to fundraising stats. After conference, Lysander pulls me aside. Board flagged non-compete concerns. We trust you'll settle amicably. I meet his gaze. We have documentation questioning West Hall's labor compliance. If price escalates, we'll counter. He nods slowly. Understood. Keep me informed. Rehearsal 7 nights deep. Warehouse floor now taped with stage dimensions, mist rig tested. Liv operates remote. She shrieks joy as vapor glisten under LED bars. It feels like standing inside breathing sea cave. We run full piece for the first time. I open with solo ripple motif, ensemble joins, culminating in hurricane lift revised safe. Lena soars, Felix anchors. Final tableau, mirrored panels tilt. Audience will see fractal image of themselves swirling among us. When music fades, silence heavy. Then cheers erupt, echoing off corrugated walls. I wipe tears. Kofi wraps arm round shoulders. We're ready. Maybe, but battle not over. 2 days before tech rehearsal, Mateo bursts into flat at dawn. Price filed injunction. Paperwork brandished. I scan doc. West Hall versus Halstead et al., seeking temporary restraining order prohibiting performance. Hearing scheduled tomorrow, 10 a.m. Gut twists. He moved fast. Paralegal cousin Iris already drafting response, citing labor violations. She warns judge conservative, but evidence solid. We spend the rest of the day compiling timesheets, email chains, and starved pay stubs. Night rehearsal canceled. Instead, we gather in my flat, convert living room into war room. Documents piled, coffee percolates nonstop. At 8 p.m., Lysander calls. Festival cannot afford legal scandal. If court issues TRO, we must pull act. I swallow grief. We'll fight. He sighs. I admire your resolve, Miss Halstead, but investors are jittery. Deliver victory, or we cut losses. Court morning, grey, humid. We file into central London Civil Court. Price sits front row, flanked by silk-suited barrister. My team, dancers plus Iris, occupy opposite pew. Proceedings open. West Hall counsel argues breach of contract, claims financial damage. Judge, stern woman, adjusts spectacles. Iris counters with evidence of unpaid overtime, asserting contracts void due to labor violations. She cites Employment Rights Act clauses, presents timesheets cross-referenced against security logs. Judge reviews exhibits. Price's expression curdles as pattern emerges. Dancers logging 40-hour weeks for 20-hour pay. Counsel sputters. Judge requests clarification on missing payroll. West Hall barrister deflects, blames admin error. Iris delivers final blow, recorded voicemail of Price instructing stage manager to keep overtime off the books. Gasps ripple. Price's face drains color. Judge rules swiftly. Injunction denied. She orders provisional investigation into West Hall labor practices. Court adjourned. In corridor, cheers. Liv cries, hugging Lena. Kofi fist bumps Felix. Renee stands apart, tears reflecting fluorescent lights. I approach. She whispers, "We did it." I nod. But inside, tension coils. Victory can breed retaliation. Tech rehearsal on pier commences midnight to dawn. Stage crew assembles mirrored panels, tests mist nozzles. The ocean's breath mingles with generator hum. Stars above Brighton glimmer like salt flung across ebony cloth. Histories will converge here tomorrow night. As we pack gear, seagulls scream. Felix squints at the water. Someone there? We peer. Figure in a hood stands on a deserted section, phone lit. When spotted, they vanish into dark. Unease trickles. Opening day dawns azure. Crew loads costumes into the pavilion. We hold warm-up at noon. Spirits high, though nerves spiking. Festival social channels hype. Clash of the currents. Halstead versus Price? Trending. Afternoon drizzle passes. Sunset bleeds magenta. Doors open, 7 p.m. VIPs in linen suits file along the boardwalk. Beyond curtains we huddle, breathing shared air like pact. Stage manager cues 5-minute warning. My ankle twinges. I adjust brace. Renee squeezes my fingers. For every broken wing that remembers sky. She quotes my mother unknowingly. I smile. House lights dim. Waves crash louder under planks. First note rises from speakers. The track now triple-backed by redundant systems. We step onto stage. Show unfolds electric. Solo lands with precision, ankle sturdy. Mirror panels catch sunset's last gold, refracting audience faces into a kaleidoscope. Hurricane lift flawless, Lena's silhouette suspended like a comet. Final tableau, we kneel, palms splayed on plexi, exhaling mist that swirls through the light. Silence thunderous before cheers detonate. Standing ovation rolls like surf. I bow. Tears freefall. But beyond footlights, I glimpse movement. Security guards rushing aisle toward stage right, radios blaring. Something wrong. Stage manager approaches, whisper urgent. Fire code violation. Price filed complaint mid-show. City inspectors en route. We may have to cancel encore. My breath catches. Crowd still applauding, oblivious. Encore? The festival promised us a second number to cement headliner status, but only if logistics clear. If inspectors shutter the stage, momentum dies. I pivot to dancers, heart hammering. We have seconds to decide. Do we yield to bureaucratic chokehold or seize the moment illegally? I lock eyes with Mateo. He nods. Small. Fearless. I step to the mic, voice trembling yet strong. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the tide rises faster than permits can catch. If you believe art should not drown tonight, stay with us. We're about to dance in the dark. Crowd roars. Stage manager shakes head frantically. I signal lights off, kill music track. We're back to a cappella, but this time the entire pier sings rhythm, stomps wooden planks, transforms into a colossal drum. We begin impromptu encore, the warehouse freestyle we jam during breaks. Sweat, laughter, rebellion. Suddenly, floodlights snap on. City inspectors, flanked by police, step onto the walkway. Their megaphones lift. I spin mid-turn, face glaring lights. The first officer raises hand. Shut it down now. His other hand rests on holstered taser. We all freeze, hearts battering ribs. The planks beneath my feet tremble, not from dance, but from something deeper, heavier, the looming verdict of authority. And as a hush ripples outward, a single child's voice somewhere in the audience.
Breath. Not a whisper more as the entire structure shudders beneath us, planks yawning like tired jaws. The inspectors freeze mid-command, their floodlights trembling in white arcs across the midnight surf. I can feel the pier's ancient bones groan through my soles, each vibration a Morse code warning. Move. Instinct overrules choreography. I flail an arm toward my dancers, mouth forming a single syllable I do not hear. Off! We scatter, but scatter with purpose. the discipline of years turning panic into vector. Lena and Liv spring back from the fault line. Felix catches Renee by the elbow before she slips on a newly canted board. Audience members gasp, clutch railings that now hang crooked against black water. The inspector with the megaphone lunges forward, maybe to help, maybe to arrest the momentum of chaos, but a splintered support gives way beneath his boot. There is a sick rip, like paper tearing through woodpecker beaks, and suddenly his right leg plunges thigh-deep between boards. He howls, the megaphone clatters and rolls, announcing nothing to the uncaring sea. Kofi darts to the man's side, wedges both arms under his shoulders, and heaves, dreadlocks whipping like frantic pennants. The beam beneath the inspector's trapped leg moans again. I dive to Kofi's opposite flank. Together we drag him free, scraping his calf against splinters. Blood follows, bright under floodlights. Crowd noise swells into a breaking wave. Some surge inward, wanting to help. Others surge outward, bodies pinballing off benches in their haste to flee. The entire pier turns into a metronome of fear, swaying, jerking, creaking under conflicting tides of motion. "Back to shore!" I yell, voice ragged. Stage crew relay the call, but the walkway to land is now congested with hundreds of bodies. The inspector, white-faced, stumbles toward nearest guard, and together they limp into current of evacuees. We need a second exit. My gaze skims the chaos, finds the lifeboat stair, a narrow metal ladder bolted to the pier's south edge, descending directly to Shingle Beach, where low tide exposes wet sand. It's meant for maintenance, not mass exodus. But right now, it's hope. I sprint to the mic still lying center stage. Flip switch. Speakers crackle. "Dancers and crew to South Ladder. Audience nearest stage, follow ushers. Alternate exit." The amplification slices through hysteria. Ushers in yellow vests pivot, forming human arrows toward ladder. My team fans out, physically guiding clusters of spectators. Lena and Liv link hands, become bright twin conduits, while Marisol sings directions in both English and Spanish, her contralto rising above gull screams. Boards beneath the ruined piling dip lower, sluicing salt water into air. The pier is dying by inches. The descent. The ladder is slick, oiled by decades of fog. Mateo descends first, instructing each person to turn and face rungs, move slow. Below, the beach lies silver in moonlight, tide still receding. I shepherd the lines, counting off, child with glitter face paint, elderly couple clutching opera glasses, teen boy wearing my crew's brand new merch tee. When Renee reaches the ladder, she pauses, looks up at me through halo of mist. "Still empowering," she whispers, and disappears down. 20 minutes stretch to a lifetime, but at last, only a handful remain. My dancers, 2 techs, and a cameraman who refused to abandon his rig. We descend together. The cameraman's equipment catches on bolts, but Kofi frees it with patient fingers. Sand greets us cold and forgiving. We hurry to safe radius, craning necks. Above, uniformed silhouettes edge along the pier, assessing damage with long poles and nervous flashlights. A siren Dopplers closer, Coast Guard or ambulance. Spectators huddle in blankets distributed by festival staff, their faces dazed yet shimmering with adrenaline. One child begins a slow clap, maybe leftover rhythm from our a cappella encore, but her mother hushes her, pressing cheeks together in maternal shock. The hush deepens, collective as prayer. Then, with an echoing clack, the compromised support gives. A chunk of stage, our stage, drops away, swallowed by darkness. Water explodes upward, white tower against black. Gasps erupt, some people sob. I only stand there,
wind whipping costume against my calves, feeling hollowed out. The platform that birthed Tidal Rhapsody lies mangled, flotsam and froth. My headline, my vindication, my war cry, now detritus bobbing on English Channel. But no one died. The thought anchors me. No one died. We saved them. Police cordon beach, EMTs treat scrapes, hypothermia, shock. Inspectors query witnesses. A journalist thrusts phone at me. Was this preventable? Rumors you ignored safety warnings. Flashlight blinds me. I step back. Mateo interposes, shepherds media off. Through the bustle, I glimpse Jackson Price, blazer immaculate, standing beyond police tape. His expression isn't relief. It's fascination, as though watching rare art unfold exactly to his design. He catches my eye, lifts phone, snaps photo, mouths, evidence. A chill surges worse than sea spray. What does he intend? Frame collapse as my negligence? He hadn't wanted encore, filed fire code complaint. Did he arrange sabotage? The speculation spirals until dizziness blooms. I steady on the rail, forcing breath. Triage. Back at Pavilion Annex, heat lamps blast stale warmth. Dancers wrapped in foil blankets sip hot chocolate from volunteer stand. EMT finishes bandaging my ankle anew. Tonight's heroics reopened micro tears. Keep off at 48 hours, she orders. I nod, knowing I won't. Festival director Lysander Cho storms in, phone glued to his ear. He spots me, covers mic. Council shut pier indefinitely. Insurance nightmare. We're trending for all the wrong reasons. I'm sorry, I start. He cuts me off. You evacuated hundreds. Could have been catastrophe. He exhales, rubs temple. But sponsors are livid, audience demands refunds, and city may revoke the entire festival license. My voice small. What about Rhapsody tomorrow? He shakes his head. No tomorrow. We might cancel remainder. The dancers overhear. Despair ripples. Marisol curses softly. Felix kicks a chair, metal clang echoing emptiness. Lysander's phone buzzes. He returns to call, pacing. I gather the troupe into a circle. We did everything right, I insist, though conviction wavers. Kofi frowns. Boards don't just drop. Someone weakened it.
Renee hugs foil tight. Price had crew there earlier, marking West Hall spots. Sabotage, Liv whispers, terrified. We exchange looks. I recall hooded figure during tech rehearsal. Heart thrums. Mateo bites lip. We need proof. I steady breath, new mission crystallizing. If we prove West Hall tampered, festival survives, we perform again, and Price falls. Evidence hunt. Morning light finds us back on beach, area still restricted but construction crew evaluating. Through coffee-fueled fatigue, I approach site manager, flash dancer pass, request permission to retrieve personal items. He denies. When I mention possibility of sabotage jeopardizing public safety, his demeanor shifts. Speak to Inspector Harding at noon. We regroup at hostel dorm Lysander has booked for displaced performers. While others nap, Mateo, Kofi, and I pore over phone footage from tech rehearsal. Frame by frame, we isolate hooded figure. Approximate build, reflective vest partially visible, timestamp 2:14. Next, security feed, warehouse maybe. Iris, a paralegal, texts she's contacting peer CCTV custody. At noon, Inspector Harding, stocky woman with wind-burned cheeks, meets us by barrier. She listens to our theory, skeptical but receptive. If you have tangible evidence, we'll add to inquiry, she says. Otherwise, structural fatigue after heat wave is plausible cause. Plausible, but convenient. We share hooded figure clip. She nods, promises to compare with CCTV. Could be maintenance crew, she warns. As we depart, a paparazzo snaps photos, tabloids already painting us as reckless avant-garde. My phone floods with notifications. Hashtag peer collapse trending. Some praise our rescue, others call for a ban on experimental dance. Amid noise, West Hall Contemporary issues statement. We are grateful no lives were lost. Safety always our top priority. Our team adhered strictly to festival guidelines. We await official findings. Cold, measured, guilt-free. Jackson tweets the press photo he took of me. I am mid-spin, stage edging toward doom behind, captioned Grande jeté into negligence. Likes skyrocketing. Anger flares. I reply publicly, interesting angle from someone who wasn't on stage saving patrons. Ballerina magnifying glass. Fans leap to my defense, but trolls swarm. The pop-up plan. That evening, Lysander convenes emergency meeting with remaining performers. Council will allow indoor venues to continue under a revised safety plan. He offers pavilion ballroom for condensed gala. West Hall volunteers their piece's centerpiece, leaving 15-minute slot unfilled due to our cancellation. Price stands, oozing graciousness. We respect Halstead's ordeal. Perhaps her team needs rest. His condescension ignites rebellion in my chest. We'll take the slot, I announce. Murmurs ripple. Lysander raises brow. Do you have a stageable piece not requiring pier or mist effects? We will, by tomorrow night. Price smiles predator. Bold. Break a leg. Oh, wait. He gestures to my brace. I clench jaw. Renee's nails dig my shoulder, a silent plea to ignore. I inhale, exhale. See you on stage. Back at hostel, we brainstorm. No mirrors, no water, limited tech. What can rise overnight? Kofi suggests using audience seats, weave through aisles, break proscenium barrier. Mateo adds live drummers to replace track, circumvent sound system vulnerabilities. Felix proposes handheld LED lanterns for oceanic glow. We craft concept, Undertow, a promenade-style piece beginning in lobby, dancers guiding spectators into ballroom where final wave swells around them, interactive, no elevated platforms. Logistics insane, but adrenaline fuels. Overnight, we rehearse choreography on hotel rooftop under flickering neon vacations. I adapt moves for smaller space, floor work tight, lift slower. Lanterns rigged with ribbon strips to mimic bioluminescent kelp. 4 a.m., Marisol returns from thrift shop raid with 20 white umbrellas. These become cresting foam when spun overhead. Sunrise finds us delirious but galvanized.
I tape ankle, slip into new costume, midnight ink leotard overlaid with translucent silver mesh reminiscent of moonlit waves, repurposed from damaged original. Lanterns check, umbrellas test. Lysander visits backstage. Council chairs here, plus half luncheon press. Make them forget last night's nightmare. No pressure, I quip. Jittery grin. Undertow begins. Lobby lights dim, drummers pound slow heartbeat rhythm. My dancers emerge from crowd shadows, arms undulating. Spectators gasp as performance materializes inches away. We guide them down carpeted hallway, weaving patterns so they become shoals parted by currents. Children squeal delight. Inside the ballroom, seats arrange semicircle around central floor. No stage. Lanterns glow soft turquoise. Umbrellas spin overhead, casting ripple shadows. Audience settles, yet remains surrounded by performers. Immersive. Heartbeat drums accelerate. I step into center, lantern clasped to chest, begins solo. I am undertow. Force unseen, pulling, releasing. Dancers orbit, umbrellas dipping like waves. Ankle holds, breath flows. Something transcendent unfurls. Art reclaiming trauma, forging beauty from ruins. Climax, drums thunder, lights strobe, we drive sequence of rapid floor rolls, popping up among audience rows, exchanging lanterns in dizzy relay. Crowd cheers, stamping feet. The ballroom feels like living storm, but safe, exhilarating. Final image, we converge center, lanterns raised overhead, forming constellation that pulses once, twice, then extinguishes simultaneously, plunging room into darkness, save for faint emergency strip lights. Silence profound. Beat. Audience erupts, standing ovation rolling like rejoicing surf. I bow, tears coursing, catch sight of mom in third row. She took overnight coach, beating hands red. But through flood of joy, I spy Price near the exit, face a storm of thwarted rage. An officer approaches him, taps his shoulder. He stiffens, then follows reluctantly toward foyer. Cameras pursue. Outside, night air hums with sirens. Inspector Harding reads warrant. Officers cuff Price. Flash bulbs strobe. Spectators pour onto the steps, filming. Price spots me in the doorway. His voice spirals across the crowd. You think you've won? This stage will crumble under you too. Officer pushes his head into cruiser. Doors slam. Car pulls away, lights bleeding red across pavement like an exit wound. I exhale, adrenaline finally allowing knees to buckle. Mateo catches me. Queen of the Tide, you did it! I shake my head. We did. Celebration cut short. Back inside the ballroom, festival staff pop champagne. Dancers laugh, clink plastic flutes. Press swarm for quotes. I give statement crediting team, emergency responders, and audience resilience. Lysander announces donation of tonight's proceeds to Peer Restoration Fund. Thunder of applause. Yet amid celebration, Iris slips me phone. Check this. She shows leaked email thread. West Hall board distancing themselves from Price, but also hinting at civil suit against Festival and me for reputational damage. They're scrambling, but you're still target. Fatigue weighs. Can they win? Depends who controls the narrative. Narrative. That's my craft. I square my shoulders. Dawn strategy. By 4 a.m., dancers asleep in hostel bunks. I sit on rooftop, laptop glow reflecting tired eyes. I draft open letter, outline events, express sorrow about the peer, celebrate community, invite collaboration to rebuild. I attach link to crowdfunding page Lasandra set. Before posting, I add final lines. Art isn't platform dependent, it's human dependent. We will dance on sand, in streets, wherever resilience finds rhythm. I hit share. Letter spreads like phosphorescence. Within hours, hashtag dance undertow trends, donations surge, influencers share, coastal communities pledge resources.
An ominous message. Late morning, I wake to voicemail. Blocked number. Jackson's voice, calm, recorded likely before arrest. If you watch water long enough, Eloise, you see how quickly it erases footprints. Don't trust tides. Static. End. Cryptic, unsettling. Is it a threat? Surrender? I forward to Inspector Harding. She files under ongoing investigation. Peer return. 2 days later, Council grants limited access for artifact retrieval. Kofi, Renee, Felix, and I accompany crew. No one else volunteered. We wear hard hats, steel boots, step onto warped boards. Sound of breakers below echoes like distant applause. Near the collapse zone, I spot shredded banner with festival logo tangled around bolt gun, evidence of sabotage tool left behind. Bagged. But something else glints between slats. My original silver mesh shawl, torn during fall, now snagged on a nail. I crouch, gingerly lift. Salt-stiffened fabric, but intact enough. I clutch it. Tears, surprising. Media tsunami. News outlets run full exposé. Headline: Choreographer's triumph, director's downfall. Inside Brighton Pier collapse. Interviews with dancers praise my leadership. Ticket demand for ballroom reprise skyrockets. We schedule encore matinee. Council endorses theater district parade featuring undertow segments. Yet, Board of West Hall releases a statement claiming ignorance of Price's actions, appointing interim director. Renee's suggestion surfaces internally. Rumor: they want her as new creative head to salvage brand. She confides fear of betrayal. I advise, take post only if you can rebuild ethics. She promises to try. Quiet before new storm. A week passes. Swell of public love buoys me. Ankle heals gradually. Mom returns to Devon proud. Dancers decompress on beachfront bonfire, tossing broken pier splinters into the flames. Funeral pyre for past. Mid-celebration, Kofi's phone buzzes. He shows me message from unknown sender. Video file titled, Tide Recedes. We open on his screen. Grainy footage from the night of collapse, shot from the waterline. Shows 2 hooded figures sawing a support beam, then camera pans to reveal a third silhouette filming them. Silhouette resembles me. A chill ripples fire's warmth away. It's fake. I was in the hostel at that time. But deepfake technology can twist truths. Attached text. How stable is your alibi? The tide returns. breath. The syllable pulses through my arteries like drumbeat, louder than the crash of waves battering the seawall beneath our precarious standoff. Everett Vale's knuckles blanch around the pistol, its barrel pressed against Renee's temple. Her chest shudders. Every exhale is a gamble. 10 meters behind me, the negotiator's megaphone crackles with placations that dissolve in the salted wind. Floodlights from police cruisers carve jittering shadows across the parapet, elongating the three of us into grotesque silhouettes dancing on the stone. My ankle throbs, braces chafing through adrenaline's veil, but I cannot waver. One misshift of weight might rattle Vale's hair-trigger nerves. Renee's eyes find mine, a flicker of brown glass under the beams, pleading and trusting all at once. A single gust might topple us both into the black-green churn below. I measure the distance, 5 paces. My body catalogues each hazard. Slick moss patch at step 2, missing baluster at step 4, unseen fault lines of stone weathered by a century of storms, all data feeding the desperate calculus of rescue. A hush falls, eerie as the vacuum after cymbals clash. Vale's finger trembles against the trigger guard. The metal flashes. Something primal sparks in me, a dancer's instinct to claim the beat before it claims you. I start moving. Not a sprint, too obvious, too linear. Instead, I let knees soften, shoulders arc, and pivot into a fluid sidestep, the beginning of a sweeping port de bras. Years of muscle memory convert fear into choreography. I let my left arm rise slowly, palm outward in a universal plea, while right hand angles subtly behind, searching for the collapsible lantern still clipped to my belt. A remnant prop from undertow we never had time to store. Vale snorts, mistaking grace for weakness. Don't try your performance tricks, Halstead. His voice warbles. He's frightened. Good. Frightened minds track target hands, not hips or feet. I'm just breathing with you, I murmur, advancing another half step, now 3 paces away. Lantern handle brushes my fingertips. I hook it, thumb searching for the tiny power stud. Vale notices motion, flinches, presses muzzle harder. Renee winces. Back off, Vale spits. I freeze mid-lilt. Okay, I say softly, eyes on Renee. Okay. Everett, tell me what you need. He laughs, a cracked glass sound. Need? I need a rewind. I need none of you meddling dancers to exist. I can't offer that. But I can offer something else. Nothing left to offer, he growls, edging backward. His heel kisses empty air. The parapet ends just behind him. Rocks below stab moonshine like broken mirrors. A siren whirps nearer. Vale jolts, trigger finger twitching. I seize the millisecond. Switch clicks. Lantern erupts in phosphorescent teal, dazzling in darkness. I fling it, an arc of neon comet streaking toward Vale's line of sight. His pupils contract. Gun barrel wavers instinctively to track the flare. Renee seizes the distraction. She jerks sideways, slamming elbow into Vale's ribs. Bang! The gun discharges skyward. The report scorches ears. Lantern shatters upon parapet, raining plastic shards luminous as jellyfish across stone. I lunge, every tendon screaming. My taped ankle skids on moss, but momentum carries me. I hit Vale's torso like battering ram, arms locking around weapon wrist. He staggers, foot sliding over the brink. For a heartbeat, we teeter, edge of gravity's jurisdiction. Renee grabs my belt, anchoring. Together we haul backward. Vale's shoe sole loses purchase. He drops the pistol, clatters across the parapet and over, but not into waves. A constable barrels forward, fists twisting fabric of Vale's coat, yanking him flat onto walkway. Cuffs resnap, piter, his protests swallowed by the roar of surf. I sag to knees. Adrenaline morphs to quiver. Renee sinks beside me, pressing forehead to my shoulder, our breaths knit and ragged duet. Blue lights strobe across night, officers swarm like stagehands after final blackout. Yet not all board members yield. A faction led by CFO Miriam Clive files injunction to block asset transfer, arguing undervaluation. Court hearings set for 6 weeks. Our embryonic company could be strangled before first breath. Pressure mounts. Sponsor negotiations stall pending resolution. Dancers depend on paycheck clock. Anxiety seeps.
Breath. The syllable vibrates in my mind like the downbeat of a symphony about to collapse into discord. 8 hours on a countdown. Anonymous threat. Live feed of Chicago River lock controls, and Kofi detained by police under suspicion we now know was manufactured. Trust in shreds. Tension strung taut enough to garrote. I hunch over the hotel balcony rail, icy wind flaying cheeks red as sirens echoed distantly along Lakeshore Drive. Below, Lake Michigan's vast slate swells under pinprick stars, oblivious to human ultimata. The phone's clock ticks 07:58:31. Every second drains resolve or fuels it. I cannot tell. Behind me, the suite door bursts open. Mateo lunges out, still in sweatpants, hair a bird's nest of worry. They're releasing Kofi for now, he pants. Insufficient evidence, but he has to stay local. He eyes the freeze of my posture, notices phone clenched like detonator. What's happened? I replay threat for him, voice a low monotone to keep panic caged. His expression hardens. They want chaos. We can't dance to that tune. I won't, I whisper, but inside, dread slithers. If I misstep, floodgates open, downtown Chicago could submerge. The stage of a city as casualty. Rapid Response Council, 0345 local. Cassandra Tycross convenes emergency meeting in conference room overlooking Dark River. Security sweeps hall. A team of ex-military professionals stands guard. Present, Cassandra, her CTO, Dr. Hannah Reyes, Lysander, via headset from London, time-zoned but alert, Iris, myself. Kofi joins by video link from Precinct Lounge, cheeks still tear-stained yet resolute. We scrub through the extorted video, low-light capture of lock control panel, digital timer superimposed. Dr. Reyes notes metadata suggests deep fake layering. Timer could be green-screened, but risk cannot be ignored. The locks integrate century-old hydraulics with new smart modules. Remote hack is plausible if someone breached on-site system. Chicago PD and Homeland Security looped in, but they treat as potential terrorism, requiring red tape hours we don't have. I push hair off face. They framed Kofi. They want us fractured, chasing ghosts while they orchestrate bigger show. Cassandra taps pen against glass table. Anonymous caller used phrase lantern breaks and city drowns. Lantern, common motif in your shows. Undertows lantern, symbol of light and defiance. They twist our art into threat narratives. Whoever it is, they watch us intimately. Lysander could be Miriam's remaining faction or Tristan's warning about foundations. I nod, but voice deeper hunch. It feels personal, more than money or real estate. They orchestrate tides, sabotage performances, frame friends. It's about control through fear. Assembling the core. We rouse the dancers from exhausted sleep. By 04:15 local, conference room packed. Lena, Liv, Marisol, Renee, Bruce Paling, Felix, and newly released Kofi escorted by apologetic officer. Though shell-shocked, he stands tall. On-wall screen, Dr. Reyes displays internal map, Chicago River's system of 18 movable bridges and 2 lock controls at Lake Michigan. She pinpoints feed's vantage. Camera perched high inside Lock 1 operations tower, restricted area. If feed genuine, intruder inside tower or hijacked internal CCTV. Police promise sweep by dawn, but I know bureaucratic pace. We need proactive infiltration. I propose split teams, technical infiltration, public communication, and Kofi's exoneration campaign. Cassandra consents, lending access badges to Tycross drone fleet for aerial recon.
Marisol Volunteers comes, prepping a livestream fundraiser disguised as open rehearsal to hold audience attention. If we must publicly respond, we shape narrative. Kofi insists on infiltration role to prove loyalty. I hesitate, fragile trust, but he locks eyes. They used my image as weapon. I'll reclaim it. His conviction steers me. Countdown 06:32:10. We mobilize. Dr. Reyes leads tech strike. Myself, Kofi, Felix, hardware tinkerer, 2 Tycross security. Intent, access tower before sunrise shift, verify threat, neutralize if real. Mateo remains base with Iris, coordinating legal and communications. Renee organizes dancers for live stream distraction at Millennium Park by sunrise, keeping public safe distance from riverfront, but eyes on us if calamity avoided. I strap on black utility leggings, no longer costume, but armor. Taped ankle whisper protest. I lace support tighter. In mirror, I see girl who once only wanted spotlight. Now, spotlight glares from crisis stage. Approach path. Unmarked SUV glides silent through city's pre-dawn hush. Skyscraper windows glint faint amber. At 05:14, we park 2 blocks from Lock Tower, adjacent to shuttered coffee roastery. Drone footage shows no guard presence, motion sensors offline. Curiously convenient. Security duo Briggs and Liao flank entrance. Locked. Felix bypasses keypad with homemade Raspberry Pi sled in 30 seconds. Practiced mischief once used for theater prop rooms, now critical skill. Inside, corridor reeks of mildew and machine oil. Overhead fluorescents flicker, though building appears deserted. We split. Liao and Briggs sweep lower maintenance. Kofi and I ascend narrow spiral to operations deck. Felix establishes uplink to Dr. Reyes's laptop via encrypted radio. At the top landing, a metal door ajar. I gesture silence. We slip in. Control room lit only by alarms panel glow. Unsettling crimson. Timer screen present on master monitor matching extortion feed. 03:46:09 remaining. Real lock override commands queued in software UI. 1 keystroke from catastrophic release. But room empty. Kofi scans corners. Could be remote. I approach console. Dr. Reyes's voice crackles in my earpiece. See the port at the rear. Patch dongle. Will attempt kill command. I comply. Felix's code streams across monitor, initiating command injection. Progress bar creeps. Suddenly, door slams shut. We spin. A tall silhouette blocks exit. Black balaclava, night vision goggles glinting green. He raises silenced pistol. Adrenaline detonates. I shove Kofi aside as muffled pop thuds. Bullet tears into panel, sparks shower. Control screen flicks static. Timer persists in upper corner. I grab metal clipboard off desk, fling toward intruder. It clangs off shoulder. He advances, firing again. Round smacks steel doorframe. Kofi seizes file extinguisher, discharges cloud into his face. Hissing whiteout by seconds. Kofi tackles him. Both crash into a bank of fuses. Gun skitters away. I leap onto Mask Man's back, locking chokehold learned from stage combat classes. He bucks. Goggles fall, revealing scarred cheek. I tighten grip. Kofi binds wrists with cable ties scavenged from the panel. Liao bursts in, handgun drawn. Stands down once threat subdued. Room reeks of CO2 mist and burnt insulation. Unmasking the saboteur. We flip intruder onto back, yank balaclava off. I gasp. Not West Hall board, not Miriam. It's Ellis Crow, the cameraman who once rescued his equipment during the pier chaos, who filmed our first a cappella save. His eyes cold now. Why? I demand, breath ragged. He smirks. Documentary gold, nothing sells like downfall. Felix enters via comlink. Abort attempt failed, code corrupted. Timer continues 03:28:55. Ellis laughs. You think I'd store trigger here? Redundant nodes, sweetheart. We drag him to chair, cable tie ankles. Liao radios Chicago PD for pickup. Dr. Reyes, we must locate remote trigger servers. I need his credentials. I glare at Ellis. Give us codes,
or you'll never premiere your masterpiece. Ellis shrugs. Art demands sacrifice. Flood shot from drones? Chef's kiss. Kofi's voice trembles with fury. You fake-framed me, risked millions. Ellis's retort cut short by Briggs. Sensors detect 2 additional intruders at maintenance level. More contractors? Shots echo below. Liao departs to assist. I lean closer to Ellis. Your documentary dies with you in prison, but Redeem Now, you co-produced Tideline Film. A bluff, but a glimmer flickers in his eyes. Ego bait.
He hesitates. Felix transmits code string via phone. Ellis sees kill command queue ready. Need biometrics, he mutters. Palm print, voice phrase. Then do it, I urge. He sighs, places palm on scanner, recites. The tide chooses its witness. System chimes. Timer freezes at 030217, then vanishes. Locks disengagement sequence aborted. Relief floods as if gates already open but reversed. Briggs returns with second intruders subdued. Ellis's assistants, independent thrill seekers promised film credit. PD arrives, all arrested. Control room now secure. Dr. Reyes praises quick thinking. At 0600, sunrise gilds river turquoise. We stand on deck, exhausted yet victorious. Kofi exhales long sigh, weight lifted. I text team, storm stalled, stand by for debrief. Mid-morning reflection and required message. Back at hotel ballroom, we gather for a half-circle debrief, coffee and croissants fueling shaky laughter. Amid the chatter, I step forward, raising voice. This journey, from London's rehearsal rooms to a lock control tower before dawn, I pause as eyes lock on mine, has been relentless. This story took us a long time. If you like it, subscribe. Now back to the story. Smiles flicker, the tension cracks into warmth. We proceed. Repercussions and rising fame. By noon, press conference. Mayor of Chicago lauds Tideline's bravery. Cassandra announces Tycross doubling festival donation to river revitalization. Hashtag Lockstep Heroes trends worldwide. Ellis's motive surfaces. He shopped documentary pitches about live disaster. Boards refused, so he scripted one. Police uncover message boards where he recruited saboteurs. Westhall tangentially exonerated from latest attack, but Price and Vale trials proceed. Our illusions of villains narrow then widen. World complex beyond simple nemesis. Yet accountability matters. Kofi cleared publicly. Live stream apology by CPD garners million views. He returns to stage for encore performance that night. Emotions raw, choreography electric. Show ends with rapturous applause. Each dancer takes bow under a shower of blue confetti shaped like tiny lanterns, the festival's spontaneous tribute. 2 days later, we board train to New York for gala at Lincoln Center. Travel fatigue heavy, but spine straight. However, my phone buzzes. Encrypted email. Sender. Deep current. Subject. Detroit drains next. Inside, blueprint of an aging dam along the Detroit River, annotated vulnerabilities. I swallow dread. Are we chasing endless storm? Mateo, reading over my shoulder, mutters, copycats? Cult? I forward message to FBI liaison. Yet fear lingers. Our fame may spawn chaos addicts craving spectacle. The price of spotlight. Night train lull lullabies. Dancers sleep. I sit by window. Lights of suburbs streak like meteor showers. Ankle aches, I massage scar of tape. I recall Mum's words anew. Wings remember sky, but sky hosts storms as well. New York 4 days later. Dress rehearsal in David H. Koch Theater. We adapt Undercurrent for proscenium. Sensors integrate with Dolby subfloor transducers. Halfway through run, theater darkens unexpectedly. Emergency lights fail. Stage plunges into blind abyss. Dancers freeze.
Sound system crackles to life with distorted voice. Tide line floats on borrowed currents. Tonight, we sink. Projected onto stage scrim, looping video of Detroit Dam blueprint plays. Timer 48:00:00. House staff scramble to restore power. Backup generator kicks. Projection vanishes. We cluster backstage, paled. Security sweep finds projector hidden in the fly loft, triggered by a motion sensor. Note taped, flow with us or drown in undertow. Network of chaos. Investigations reveal online community Tide Gauge worshipping concept of catastrophic art, rooting on a dark web forum started by Ellis but grown beyond him. Cells worldwide plan water-related chaos, seeing us as unwilling mascots. They hijacked our motifs, lanterns, tides, undertow. They crave narrative loops between beauty and disaster. Bureau forms a task force, asks Tideline to assist as liaisons. Our inside knowledge of symbolism helpful. Cassandra offers Tycross cyber resources. We become dancers and detectives. While authorities track bigger cell, we salvage New York dates, restructure show into benefit for dam reinforcement. Audience empathy transforms fear into funding. Tickets sell out. But the intangible dread, timer ticks in hidden places. Clues in choreography. As we workshop new piece Breakwater, I sense a pattern in communications. Phrases lantern breaks, tides choose witness, dance to our tune, flow with us, all referencing our show titles. Could be cipher indexing to performance order. I chart timeline versus message geography. London Pier, Tidal Rhapsody, to Chicago River, Undertow, to Detroit Dam, Breakwater. They follow water infrastructure's escalating scale. Next, predicted after Detroit, maybe coastal levees where our next scheduled show. We're heading to New Orleans Festival. Levees. The cipher aligns. I present to FBI. They correlate with chatter, raise threat level for Louisiana. Detroit countdown. Despite federal presence, 48-hour timer dwindles. Teams secure dam, engineers verify failsafes. Yet 4 hours prior, someone hacks public NOAA alert system, broadcasting false tsunami warning across river towns, causing panic. We race to media center, reassure citizenry via livestream. Mateo's charisma and my on-site demonstration of floodgate function calm populace. Timer hits 0. Nothing physically happens. Psychological terror only. But stress injuries, large. Tide Gauge celebrates online, calling it mind wave flood. Self-reckoning. I bunker in motel room outside Detroit. Insomnia gnaws. I watch a clip of our London Pier encore when we defied price. I notice unfamiliar figure in the background filming. Scruffy hoodie, predating Ellis involvement. Could be founder of the cult. Deep current. My timeline extends farther back. I realize we can't keep reacting. We must confront at source. Dark web network server. Felix and Dr. Reyes craft a plan. Infiltration via performance livestream honeypot, trace IPs. We schedule special digital show, Stillwater, only streamed via unique link seeded into the forum. During broadcast, concealed script piggybacks on viewer connection to pinpoint nodes. Honeypot performance. We transform abandoned train depot into stage, water pump to create shallow reflective pool. Cameras drone overhead. In secrecy, we rehearse meditative piece. No big sponsors, just us and law enforcement network sniffers. Stream launches midnight. Forum members flood in to gloat. At climax, dancers freeze in still water while algorithm runs tracer route bursts. Success. Central node located. Abandoned data center on New Jersey waterfront. Teams mobilize, but we insist on inclusion. Story comes full circle. We arrive with the FBI. Raid reveals servers broadcasting countdown to New Orleans levee breach. Ringleader captured. Miriam Clive's estranged son, Adrian, tech anarchist, obsessed with water symbolism and Mother's downfall. He co-opted Tide Gauge after Ellis' arrest, seeking to wash away corrupt institutions and frame us as avatar of unstoppable tide. He smiles when cuffed. Art is change. You can't damn change. Aftermath tides. Servers seized, countdown stopped. National headlines hail, dance troupe helps thwart terror at work. But trauma imprints. Renee enters therapy, Lena gets panic at sirens. We suspend the tour, host community workshops on resilience. Cassandra funds River Safety Initiative. I speak before the UN Water Security Summit. One morning I return to Brighton. The ruined pier remains skeleton. I sit at edge, silver shawl around shoulders. Sea breeze tastes of old tears, but also of salt that births life. I close my eyes. No metronome ticks. Only gulls. My lungs finally fill without urgency. But phone buzzes. Message from unknown number. I stiffen, old reflex. It reads, "Flow must continue, but this time together. Meet at low tide." Attached GPS coordinates. The beach where Undertow premiered. I glance to horizon. Clouds part. Sun glints off ripples.